Most jumpers love to hammer in the short approaches. And if you're one of those people, then what Olympic champion Thea Lafond did might shock you. Her and her coach Aaron Gadson chose to completely cut out the short approach jumps from her training, and instead opting for combination jumps, which mixes and matches different phases of the triple jump to really dial in and drill in your technique. In this clip, Thea's coach explains why combination jumps work and how you can implement them. One thing that I've noticed a lot from your Instagram is that you use different combinations of like hop, hop, step drills, step, 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 different combinations of phases. Do you usually use those to address different like weaknesses in the jumper? How do you decide which exercise to use for a specific jumper?
Yeah, I definitely do those combo jumps because I think they help they help either reinforce or help you learn how to correct errors that you have in your triple jump. I'll say for Thea, honest to God, I don't think we didn't do one short approach triple jump the Olympic year. Like seriously,
It
we
was all
don't.
just combination jumps?
Yeah, so we don't. She doesn't like doing short approach jumps. Honestly, I don't with my other athletes. I might do them once a month. I think they can be good sometimes to give people kind of confidence and stuff and give them a feel. Some people might lose it. Again, Thea just doesn't like them. I think because what happens when you go from short approach, sometimes you start doing weird stuff that doesn't really apply to a full approach jump, and so it can kind of be fool's gold. So like it can be there's sometimes people will look really good from short approach, and then you go from full approach and it doesn't look good because they'll put their body in positions during short approach that if you do that with more speed and more forces, it just doesn't work. Or you do things from short approach and the speeds are slower, so it's easier to do. And so it's like you feel like you're really improving, and I guess some ways you are improving your short approach, but that might not translate to the full approach because the speeds and the timing and the forces are different. But anyway, to answer your question about the combo jumps, I think again, people are talking about you're talking about a small middle phase, and I think the reason why people have small middle phases is because they don't do like hop hop step jump. You do hop hop step jump, and you have a bad middle phase. It's going to be very 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 difficult for you to get a second hop off. And so I think doing that drill is really good at making sure that you have a really good hop to step contact. I mean, maybe it sounds a little counterintuitive, like, hey, I'm doing two hops and that's going to help my step phase, but it's really about how you're contacting the ground after your hop. And the only way you can get a second hop in is if you're contacting the ground well on your first hop. And so like that's why we do that one in particular a lot. Because again, if you don't do that second hop, then all you're doing is reinforcing a bad step phase. You know what I'm saying? And then I might do, multiple steps because that's going to allow you to, work on your step phase in particular, and then also your step to jump phase. I said step to jump phase, but your step to jump contact. So it's like if you do hop 3 steps in a jump, you're going to get 2 opportunities to do a step phase on the proper foot that you, right? So maybe your first one's bad. I think the way you become a good jumper is you become self-aware, like real time. So if you do one like, dang, my first step was not good, then you have, another second to figure out how to get the second one better, or at least try something else. And so it allows you to get more reps in real time really quickly. And I also think that, we do those combos on both sides. So, you hop, hop, step, jump off the right leg, we'll do hop, hop, step, jump off the left leg. And we usually start with the weak leg first because it's kind of a warm-up. And, there's a lot of research that comes from, people that get injured and they do stuff on their other leg or their other arm or whatever. And it's called the cross-education effect. These neurological pathways from doing this stuff on the other leg or the other arm that actually transfer to the other side. And so it allows you to get a lot more practice in if you get that other side good too. Your body can only take so many contacts on one side. And so if you can spread it across to the other side, it allows you to get more practice in.
Interesting. So it's kind of like helping you like be able to coordinate it better with like the neurological aspects of it, I guess.
Yeah, I mean it's a learning a skill, you're physically creating neurons and neurological connections. And so if you do that, on one side of your body, those pathways are also being created on the other side of your body. Not in the same intensity, but it is happening. And so it allows you having that dexterity on both sides is complementary.
And I guess it kind of reminds me of the box, where it's kind of like a constraint. For the double hop, like you were saying, if you have a bad hop, then you're not going to be able to get the second one off. And the way it feels whenever you do like a hop jump is you have to put that foot down or else you're going to like face plant.
Hmm.
So it like reinforces good mechanics without like by adding a constraint into it. Like you have to do two hops.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's the best way to coach. Like, you should try to create drills or environments that kind of incentivize people, or encourage people to do stuff the right way without you having to tell them exactly.
Hmm.
And so, as you said, jumping off the box punishes you if you don't do it the right way. You know what I'm saying? Running over like little mini hurdles is telling you to, like, hey, you got to hit the ground a certain way and your thighs got to get to a certain place or you're going to trip over all these hurdles. Right? But I don't have to tell you to do that. Just run and you'll figure it out. Right. And so, look, I mean, there's always going to be some level of what's called, like, cueing, internal or external cueing. Internal cue would be like, your arm needs to be here, your knee needs to be here. External cue might be like, just, get a big cycle. Like, you're still gonna have to do some of that stuff, but the more you can kind of create an environment where people kind of have to do it and figure it out, I think it's better. I think of like, doing triple jump is a skill. It's not just about the physical attributes of it, right? And so it's like if you were a gymnast and you had to learn how to do a flip, I can't just say, hey, just do a flip.
Yeah.
You do that, you're going to land on your head and not be able to flip ever again, right? So I say that to say that, like, we should treat triple jump in that way too, where it's like you're not just running and jumping, like you got to do it a certain way. And so we don't treat other technical sports like that. The only reason we treat gymnastics like that in particular is because there's a huge penalty if you do it wrong.